Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Remodel Design webinar. My name is Nick, and I'll be doing the presentation with you today. Just like all of our previous webinars, everybody will be on mute, but if you do happen to have any questions at any point during our class, please feel free to go ahead and type in your questions, and at the end of the class, I will go through and answer any questions that may have come up. Also, at the end of the class, I will be sending out an email that will contain a document that covers everything that we're going to be talking about in today's class. Should you happen to have any questions while going over that document, please don't hesitate. You can contact our support department and they'll be happy to help you out again with any questions you may have. Again, today's class is on remodel design, and we're going to be going through and illustrating a remodel project that involves denoting on the plan what is new, what is existing, and what will be demolished. We're also going to be discussing how to denote the various elements and to ensure that only the new construction elements appear in your material list. So again, today's topics are going to include creating existing and demolish catalog elements. We're also going to be looking at creating a remodel set of plans. And then we're going to be looking at quantifying only certain elements within the report. So first, let's take a look at creating renovation elements. So we're going to go up, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to be adding in some new walls. So let's go up to File, Catalogs, and we're going to select the Element Manager. And then once the Element Manager loads up, we're going to scroll down into the Walls folder. So we're going to give this a second to load up. And again, once the Element Manager is loaded, we're going to scroll down to our Walls folder. And in our Walls folder, we are going to go into the Custom folder. So I'm just going to minimize some of these. And we're going to see that there is a custom folder. We're going to select the existing wall that is in the custom folder already. This is a default wall that we ship with. And we're going to use this to create a new existing interior wall. So we're going to select this existing wall. We're going to right click and we're going to select Add Element. When you select Add Element, once you've selected an element in the catalog, it will use that as the default and you can edit from there. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we make some adjustments to this. So under the basic tab, we want to set the wall type to be general. We're making this a general wall, so that way the framing does not show up in our reports. This is an existing wall and an existing interior wall, so we do not want the framing to show up in this part because we don't want it to quantify. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to change the name. So I want the name to be existing, and I'm just going to say interior wall. Once I have existing interior wall as the name, we're going to go through and we're going to start making some adjustments. Now, the exterior surface, we don't need an exterior surface on here. So we're going to just make that 0. And we're also going to make the interior, the airspace also 0. This will again just make it a core wall for us, and it's going to get rid of all of the exterior veneer. On the Appearance tab, you can assign whatever materials you want for each component. So we're going to select Appearance, and we're just going to make adjustments to the interior wall here. So we're going to go through and we're just going to make sure that everything is set up the way that we want. So we're going to use this Revere Pewter for our wall. And you can set a glass element to this wall if you want it to appear transparent in 3D. This will help to visualize where the wall was and what it will look like if you were ever to remove it. So if you want to play around with the appearance of the elements, you can make those adjustments here. We're going to leave this with the Revere Pewter as our wall colors. And what we're going to do next is we are going to go to the Line Work tab. Now, on the Line Work tab, this is where you can control how this wall will look in a 2D plan view. So what we want to do is we want to select the 2D core, and we want to select all the way down to the airspace option. So we're going to highlight all of these. With these all selected, what we're going to do is we are going to use the wall's existing layer. Now, the wall's existing layer has a light line weight and an alternate color, so it will appear differently on the screen and in printed documents. This will make it easy to distinguish what is new and what is existing. So we've already created a layer in the catalog, and you should be seeing this wall's existing option. I am good with that, so I'm going to leave it at walls existing, and I'm just going to click on the quantity tab. Now on the quantity tab, you can take out the check mark in the include in quantities option if it is selected. The existing wall will then not appear in our final bill of materials. So again, if there is a check mark in here, you want to uncheck it so that it does not show up in your reports. Once we're happy with this, we're going to say existing wall interior is complete. We're going to say OK. And that's going to add in a brand new wall into our catalog. So now we can see that the existing wall is now present. We now have a demolished and an existing wall type in the catalog, and we can now use them to create our renovation project. So before we move on, let's select this demolished wall so you can take a look at it. So with the default demolished wall that we have in the catalog, we can see here that it is set up, and we can go through its actual properties. So again, it is set to general. We have an actual core thickness, and we can leave the exterior surface and interior and the airspace on, because we can use this wall for not only exterior walls, but interior walls. On the appearance tab, we can go through, and you can see here we have it set up to be using a material called common glass. And this is because we want this to show up as a transparent object in 3D, because we want to be able to see through it, because that wall is going to be removed in the design. So we've given it a glass appearance. The line work tab, when you go to your core, you can see here that we have a new line style set up called walls demolished. And it is set up as a red color. And if we click on that little browse button, we can see that walls demolished is red with a dash dot line style and a very light line weight. So when we draw in a demolished wall in a 2D plan view, we will see it as a red dotted line. And we're going to say OK to that. And then again, on the quantity tab, we are again not going to include this in our quantity reports. So we're good with the catalog as it is. So what we're going to do now is we are going to say OK. That's going to save the catalog for us. And we're now going to draw an existing plan. Once the catalog elements have been created, it is then a matter of using the walls correctly in the plan. We're going to start by first drawing the existing plan, and then we're going to develop the new and demolished walls. In our example project, we will create a single story plan, and we're going to add a bump out in the back of the plan for a new addition. So we're going to select the walls by baseline options. We're going to go up and we're going to select walls by baseline. And in the catalog panel under custom, we are going to select the existing wall option. We're going to position our cursor in the lower left corner of our design area, and we're going to left click once. We're then going to move our mouse to the right, and this is going to define an angle of 0. Once the wall is moved to the right, we are going to see that we can type into our commander, and we're just going to type in 25 feet, and we're going to press enter. We're going to move our mouse upwards, so in the 90-degree direction. We're going to type in 10 feet, enter. Move our mouse to the right once again. We're going to type in 5 feet, enter. And then we're going to move our mouse up again in the 90-degree direction, and we're going to type in 20 feet. We're gonna move our mouse all the way to the left, which is gonna be in the 180-degree direction. And we can type in 30 feet, or we can use our snap tracking, which will automatically snap it to 30 feet for us. And then we can just lock that in by pressing the left click on the mouse button. And we now have our basic design for our existing building created. So what all we need to do now is right click and we can select finish. Again, whenever using the walls by baseline command, if you ever make a mistake, you can use the step back option to step back all the way to the very first point. We're going to say finish, and we're just going to make sure that this is set to the outer face of the veneer. We're not going to adjust the position of it towards the inside or outside. So we're just going to say okay. So what we're going to see now is a plan that has a gray line showing up for our design. And I'm just going to take this opportunity now to move this more into the middle of my design before I start adding in more elements. There we go. So now we're kind of in the middle of the plan view. So this gray wall is now denoting an existing wall. So now what we're going to do is we are going to now insert walls for the interior of our design. So we're going to go up, we're going to select walls, and we're going to go under the building tab. We're going to select the walls option. And then in the catalog, we are going to select that new wall we just created, which is going to be the existing interior wall. And then we're going to bring our mouse into the drawing area. We're going to position our cursor over this corner right here, and we're going to left click once to start adding in that wall. We're going to move our mouse all the way over to the left, and we're just going to snap it into the core of the exterior wall to the opposite side. This will add in that new wall for us. Sorry, that will add in that existing wall for us in our existing plan. In the catalog panel, we're now going to select the demolished wall. I'm just going to grab the demolished wall. I'm going to bring my mouse back into the drawing area. And this time I'm going to right click and I'm going to select the enter insertion offset option. And then I'm just going to type in 10 feet and I'm going to say okay. I'm going to position my cursor down here along this bottom part of the wall, and I'm going to left click once to insert that wall, and it will now add that wall in for us. So we're just going to stretch it from that interior wall all the way up to the existing exterior wall. And again, you can now see that that wall inserted with a red dash dot line style, again denoting that that is a demolished wall. We're going to be removing that wall. So at this point in time, we have now created and established the existing plan. You may want to transfer this to a working drawing sheet before inserting any new walls to illustrate the existing plan before any alterations. You can add dimensions and notes as required. You can also add in doors and windows again to this plan to show, pardon me, to show where the existing windows and doors are going to be placed. So let's insert this onto an existing, let's insert this existing plan onto a worksheet. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we are on the floor plan 1 tab. And we're going to go up and we're just going to insert a view of that floor plan. So we're going to go up and we're going to select under inserts. We're going to select the drop down. We're going to select define smart view. With this define smart view option, we're now going to go in and we're going to define the smart view for this existing plan. So what I want to do first of all is I want to name it. I want to give this a name so that I know exactly what it is. And this is going to be existing floor plan. It's going to be at 1/4 inch. I want to use it on just the ground floor layer. And I'm going to make sure that I have everything turned on that I want to display. So right now I can see that the plan is right in the middle. I don't need the terrain. So I'm just going to turn the terrain off in my view filter. And I'm going to say, okay. So now what I can do is I can now insert this into that plan view sheet. So now I can see that view. Now, if I go back to model and I talked about adding in dimensions and windows and doors, so we don't have existing doors and windows in the catalog, we just have new elements. So you would need to do the same process like we did with the existing walls. You would need to select a door, find a door in the catalog, select it, and then what you could do is, let's just grab this decorative door here. Let's do a 2x6 wall instead of a 2x4 wall. And I'm just going to select this door, right click, and I'm just going to say add elements. I'm just going to use the doors. I'm going to say okay, but I'm just going to call this, and I'm just going to say door 1 existing. Underneath the information for this door, I would want to make sure I make the adjustments as required. So if I want to make sure that it looks different in the plan view, then I would make sure I change it so that it is using, again, an existing wall layer, or sorry, an existing layer for that particular door or window. So I could, again, just select all of these, and I could use my little select layer option, and I can use the walls existing, or I can create a new one completely. So I'm just going to go and say add. And I'm going to change this name to be doors existing. Again, I'm going to change the color to be this gray line style. It's going to be gray. It's going to have a continuous line type, and it's going to be a very light line weight. And then I'm just going to say okay. And then when I say okay to that, sorry, under quantities, we're again going to remove the including quantities, as well as the remove any assemblies. And then we're going to say okay. And now I have a new door in the catalog that's existing. I can place it into the drawing area, center it on the wall, and it will show up in that existing color. Same for the windows. So again, any window that you want to add in, select it, add, okay, existing. Line work, we're going to change the line work. We're going to use a new one called Windows Existing. And once you make this change in the catalog once, it's a permanent change. So if you are doing renovation projects quite a bit, then once you do these steps once, it will always be in the catalog for you. So you won't need to keep doing this every single time. And we can say okay. And again, under quantities, we're just going to remove the include in quantities because we don't want it to show up. Say okay. And then we can add in windows wherever we want. So we're going to center a window on that wall and on that wall, like so. And then I can go through and I can say, well, now I want to add in my dimensions. So I can go up to Tools, Dimensions, Auto Exterior Dimensions, and I can see the dimensions for the existing house. And then on my plan view for my worksheets, I can just select that and update it. So now we can see what that existing plan looks like with the existing windows and doors. So what we're going to do now is we're going to show the new elements. So we're going to now go back to our model view. We're going to use this exact same plan. I'm going to get rid of this dimension string out the back because that's where our addition is going to be. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start adding in the new elements to our existing plan. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back up to walls. We're going to select the walls option. In the catalog panel, you can select any of the wall types, but the demolished or existing wall types in the custom folder. We want to illustrate this as a new wall, and all of the other elements in the catalog have full values set to them. So we're just going to choose a wall type that we want to use. So let's grab the 2x6 cement board panel wall, and I'm just going to bring my mouse into my drawing area. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to select the enter insertion offset, and I'm just going to type in 5 feet, and then I'm going to snap this to this exterior side so that it snaps at 5 feet from that corner. I'm going to move my mouse upwards and I'm going to type in a distance of 15 feet. I'm going to move my mouse to the left, and I'm again going to type in a distance of 15 feet. And I'm just going to bring my mouse down, and what this will do is allow us to snap to this part of the wall right there. So what we've done now is we've added in a set of new walls out the back, and it's going to look different because it's using the new wall layers. And when I look at the properties of those new layers, they're going to also show up in my quantity report. So I'm going to get a list of all of the new material that's needed to create that addition off the back. So now that I've added in my new walls, I can add in my new windows. So again, I can select my windows. I don't want to use the existing option. So you may want to create a folder in your catalog for any existing elements that you want to use. And then you're just going to select the elements that you want, and then you're just going to place them in. So I'm just going to go center on wall, and I'm just going to drop in a couple of windows, and then I'm going to throw a door out the back here. So we're just going to go sliding glass door out the back here. We're just going to center that guy on the wall too. So now we have new windows and new doors in our reports as well. But now we want to add in a roof. So when you add a roof onto the structure, it will either be quantifying all of the elements, or you're not going to quantify it at all. So we will step through how to quantify only the portion of the roof for the new addition. So we're going to go in and we're going to select our roofs, and we're going to use the roof by perimeter option. So I'm just going to select roofs by perimeter. In the catalog on the right hand side, I'm just going to grab a roof, and I'm just going to grab a 412 slope, and I'm going to bring it into my design. I'm going to left click once. So what this has done is it's now inserted a roof over the entirety of our model. We want to make sure that only the portion of the roof over the addition is going to be calculated. So what we're going to do is we're going to convert our roof to surfaces. Now, before you convert to surfaces, make sure that the roof shape over the existing house looks the way it should. So if you have gables anywhere, you're going to want to make sure you change that roof to be a gable. We're going to keep ours as a hip, and we're going to keep it as a hip on the addition as well. So I'm just going to select the roof, right click, and I'm going to select convert to surfaces. With this convert to surfaces option selected, I'm going to be able to choose a roof from the catalog. So now that the roof is comprised of individual surfaces, the surfaces over the addition can be different properties than those over the existing structure. So what we're going to do is we're going to select our roof option. So I'm just going to close all of these folders down. We're going to select roofs, and we are going to select the asphalt shingle roof surface. And I'm going to say OK to that. Now what we're going to do is we are going to go in, and I'm just going to select all of the edges of the existing roof. So it's going to select the surfaces that make up the existing roof, like so. And again, I did that with just a select with the left click of the mouse, and then holding my shift key down, I can select the other edges of the surfaces that make up that existing roof. We're then going to right click, and we're going to go into its properties. Now in the properties, this is where we can start to modify how this roof surface is going to be edited. So I'm going to change the name to be existing asphalt shingle roof surface. That's the first thing I'm going to do. Give it a different name. Everything else I'm going to keep the same. I do want to have the same look to the roof. I want to show the correct materials. I do want it to be the correct thickness. So I'm really just going to be adjusting the appearance, just the line work for this particular roof. So all I'm going to do now is go in and say, again, for this existing roof, I'm just going to make sure that the plan view, so the 2D footprint, is using a different layer. And again, I can go in and say roof's existing, and I just want it to be a continuous line style. And I'm just going to say, OK. This may or may not be in the catalog. I can't remember if I've added this in before, but we've already stepped through how to add in a layer. So you can just select add, give it a new name, roofs existing, and then change the color, the line type, and the line weights. Say okay. And what you're going to get is that look. And if you want to hatch this in a 3D view, then you're also going to want to change the layer of the hatch. So again, we just want this to be, again, roofs existing. And then we're just going to say okay to that. Now, for the quantities, we want to make sure that we do not include any of this in the quantities. So now we're just going to go through and we're going to remove all of this information for the roof of this existing roof surface. So now nothing is going to quantify. And then we can simply say, okay. And what you'll see now is in a plan view, you're going to see it highlighted in that gray line style. And then our new roof is going to be the dash line style. We're going to go up to Tools, Dimensions, Auto Exterior, and we're going to say yes to replacing it because we're just going to show the new dimensions now off of the back. And we can now see all the new dimensions along with our existing dimensions. Now that we've made that change, we can go back to our floor plan and we can now add in a new view of the new existing worksheet. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to insert a new smart view of the new plan. So we're going to go back into our define smart view. We're going to change the name, and this is going to be new floor plan. It's going to be of the ground floor. Again, we're going to use the view filter to turn off elements we don't want to see. So if you want to see something different, you can turn them on or off as needed. So maybe you don't want to show the roofs here. You can turn the roofs off. We're going to keep everything on except for the terrain. And then we're going to simply say, okay. We're going to zoom in. Again, what you see is what you get in this dialog. So make sure your entire view is visible. Again, we want it to be a drawing, and we're just going to simply select inserts. And now attached to our cursor is going to be that floor plan. And we can simply drop that in so that it fits right in the view of where we want it to be placed. And then you can move this around so that they line up more closely so that you get a better understanding of how far out that addition is going to be. And then you would just label this as existing and new, a proposal, whatever the naming convention you want to use. So you can go to Tools, Text, and then in the text, you can change this to be, so instead of dimensions, we're going to use this as headings. And we're just going to say cap locks, existing floor plan. And we'll say okay, and we'll just drop this in so that it lines up with that dimension string. And then I'm just going to duplicate this guy over. Again, we're just going to duplicate this one from here to here. And then we're just going to say new floor plan or proposed floor plan, whatever the terminology is that you want to use. And we would just change that out. So now you can see the difference between the two. And again, if you want to add in any kind of text inside, you could show the text inside of these areas as well. If we go back into our model, what we will also see when we go to our tools, analyze, generate project estimate, we're only going to see the information for that new construction. So we're going to see that we have different options available for the blocking material, our cripple studs, our doors. We're only seeing the one door here. I'm just going to maximize this so you can see and bring this over. So we can again see that we are using just the information for that new area in our design. So you can see our members, our parts. We can see we got some floor material in there. We got, again, everything that we're going to need for just that new construction area. And then in a 3D view, if you ever wanted to show the interior views, you could decorate it up a little bit. You can throw a camera in to show that this is going to be the demolished wall. So that wall is going to be removed. So you can see it as a line style here. Sorry, you can see it as a glass material here. You can also go in and add in your opening. So if you want to show what the opening is going to look like going into this room, you could do that. One question that I do get quite a bit is, well, if I'm adding in this wall from here to here, it's intersecting and I can now see through that area. That's just the way that the walls intersect in Envisioneer. There's really no way around that other than disconnecting the wall from the wall itself. So you would simply just stop this wall from connecting to the interior walls. So you just separate them like that. And then what that will do in that 3D view is you will now see just the glass portion of that wall. So again, that is not something that you can prevent because we're making the wall glass. We're going to see through that intersection. So you're going to see through into that intersection of those two walls. So you would just step those walls back a little bit so they don't intersect. So that takes care of everything that I wanted to show you in regards to creating a remodel plan. The only other thing I want to point out is once you've created your worksheet views, if you do make changes to the model, you need to update the view, do not allow for the existing plan to be included in the update. So as an example, let's go back into our model view. And let's go up and we select, we want to add in a cased opening to get into our new addition. So let's just make that a 5-foot cased opening right there. So now we have a new opening to get into our new addition, but I need to reflect that on my worksheet. So I'm going to go back into my floor plan and I can just go up and say, update smart views global. This will update every view that I have, but I don't want to update the existing floor plan. If I update the existing floor plan, it's going to show me all of the new stuff that we've added in. So we want to make sure that we uncheck existing floor plan and we just say update. And now we will see the new opening into our addition, but it's not affecting our existing plan. So again, if you are using the remodel feature quite a bit, that is a practice you will want to get involved in, is making sure that you use the Update Smart Views Global and you are only updating the views that you want. And the existing floor plan is never going to be updated. Another way around this is you could simply select that view and you can explode it. Now, exploding it will break the link back to the model completely, so it will now just be individual lines. That is another way of doing this. But if you ever did want to make adjustments, that linkage is broken. So you can use either option. Again, just making sure you uncheck the existing floor plan in your Update Smart Views Global is the better option. But again, you can simply just select the view and press X on your keyboard, and it will let you know that you are now breaking that. So it's, and then it will just be individual lines. And then any changes you make will not be reflected in this plan view either. I'm just going to edit and undo that because I don't want to break that linkage. So again, that takes care of everything I wanted to show you in regards to what we've created today. So again, I'm just going to open up the questions and answers section. So again, if you have any questions, please feel free to go ahead and type those in. I'm just going to go through a quick overview, or sorry, a quick review of what we've gone through in today's class. So today we went through how to create a remodel project, and we looked at creating new elements in the catalog. So we went through and we added in some new walls into our catalog. So we created an existing interior wall, and we looked at the already existing demolished and existing exterior walls. Once we added in our new wall types. We drew in our existing floor plan to denote where the existing plan is. And then we added in our new elements off of the back of our design. We then added in a roof, and then we broke the roof into surfaces to show what was going to be new and what was going to be existing. So that way it quantified just our new elements, not our existing elements. Once we had added in our new elements with our new roof, we added in our dimensions, and then we inserted it into a worksheet along with our existing floor plan. So that way we could see what the existing floor plan looks like with our new floor plan design. So again, I'm just going to go ahead and pause here for just a moment to see if anybody has any questions. I will be sending out an email again with the documentation from today's class, so you can go ahead and try this out on your own. If you happen to have any questions while doing that, again, please don't hesitate. You can reach out to our support department, and they will be happy to answer any questions you may have. Perfect. Well, there doesn't appear to be any questions, so I do want to thank everybody for attending today. I do look forward to speaking with you all again very soon. Thank you very much, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your day.